He wanted to improve the lives of others that might not have had the best start, to give them everything that they deserve and should have. He was a teacher, he was a stay-at-home dad, and then he was a child advocate. That was his life mission. He supported people.
Mark became very emotionally involved in this case. It was a very difficult, awful case, and because of the circumstances, he fought extra hard because he wanted Brendan and Cynthiana to have every chance to succeed in life since they'd had such a difficult background.
I've been doing this work for a long time, and I started after graduate school in CPS in California, and that was in '80, which is forever ago, and I'm still doing this work. This one kept me up at night. And just going back to it now, it's like it happened then. And I feel like Mark's standing right here. I'll never forget what happened to these kids.
The police had gone out because of a warrant on Mom and had found her car. So they did a raid on where she was living, and that's where they found the children. Both the children were tied with what they looked like bed sheets. They were gagged. They were tied face down on the bed and tied to the bed, and both of them on one bed, and that's what the police found. The children had marks and bruises all over them. They had marks across their back and their arms. Cynthiana had bruises all over her buttocks, and they were fresh, more open. You could tell they were healing, but they were more open. These were all things Cynthiana said that Mom hit them with extension cords, cable cords, belts, anything she wanted.
I was in a very abusive situation, so it wasn't fit for a child of my age to be in that environment. So yeah, there was a lot of pain and a lot of struggle.
Brendan, when he was first interviewed, he said, Mom told us not to tell our business. So he didn't want to say anything that would get her in trouble. And it was only later that he ever started talking. But he did admit that he had been tied to the bed. He said this is what she did whenever they were bad, but they deserved it. So she had brainwashed him to believe that he was bad, that he was a troublemaker, and that this is how to be disciplined. We also learned that the children said they had been threatened numerous times with death, that Mom was going to kill them. In fact, one of the incidents they described was being taken out into a wooded area and told to climb into a black garbage bag, and that they would be killed and no one would ever find them.
First coming into foster care was scary. I didn't know what to expect. You know, when you leave your family, you don't really know where you're going. So I remember Mark came and everything seemed to be fine. You know, he talked to me and calmed me down, and he ended up being there with me until the end. We would talk, and he definitely talked to me about everything that was happening with me and make sure I was okay. just a sweethearted individual. Taught me how to be a good person. He gave me some positive outlooks on life. He never said anything negative. Gave me the right encouragement as to what I needed to keep pushing.
Mark was really angry because you feel that sense of anger. I mean, the children are absolutely helpless in this. They have no choices. They're victims. They're captive. They can't. Children who are in these situations don't have a choice about it. Having a volunteer who is going to interact with the child, talk to the family, neighbors, all the collaterals, and make that recommendation without fear of what CPS is going to do or what anybody else is going to do, make that objective recommendation to the court about what's in the best interest of the child. Without that, the kids are shortchanged. It just happens over and over and over again.
Hadn't I had Mark, I feel like a lot of things would have went haywire. I definitely mean it when I say I'm grateful for him, man. Things could have been sour, and I could have ended up with a family that could have possibly did some things to me that were worse than who I was already with. So I'm very grateful to have had Mark as my advocate.
I'd want the children on his cases to remember how much he cared for them. Everything that he gave me and my sisters and my mom, he tried to give the same to the kids that he represented. He genuinely cared for them, and I hope that they realize and appreciate and remember how much he did.
Brendan is he is a great example of what can happen when someone steps in and takes such an interest in kids, because their background, Brendan and Cynthiana's background, would lend itself to not experiencing this kind of success. And they did.
Overall, Mark made me a better person through all the things that he did. I can look back and see that how great he was. And yeah, my life's changed for the better.